Hello everyone, and welcome back to Aetherfall, my idea for a post-apocalyptic fantasy game. Today, we're going to talk about traveling from place to place within the game. Now, this may seem as a fairly simple process that doesn't need to be talked about much, but it is often a point of discussion and contention among fans of open world games. To allow fast travel or to not allow it? What kinds of mounts can and should be available? How do ships work? And more will be covered today. So, I'm going to break down these questions to the best of my ability to help you all understand the choices I feel will be best for the game. Let's dive into the discussion. Here's the thing, and you may agree with me or you may think I'm just dumb, but I do not like fast travel. I think it's not conducive of a proper role-playing environment, and I think it's indicative of a barren, uninteresting overworld. The time you take traveling between set locations is where some of the best interactions happen through random encounters. But alas, it has become a staple of modern open worlds. The casual fan likes this streamlined approach, and they should not be alienated because of it. So, fast travel should exist in the game. But, if it does, I think a great balancing tactic would be that fast travel isn't free. It should cost something. I debated what the requirements for fast travel should therefore become. The solution I've determined is this. There should be a warp spell that you can learn early on, not requiring any perks, as that would be quite annoying. However, this spell should afflict summoning sickness onto the player. I know that's a term stolen from Magic the Gathering, but it sounds cool and I also like Magic the Gathering. This sickness should weaken the player across the board, limiting health, magic, stamina, damage, and movement for a bit of time after the warp is complete. This, like many other features of the game, must be playtested for the exact numbers. I want to discourage usage of fast travel without outright preventing it from happening. It stops players close to death from simply warping to safety in case they're in a dangerous area, as the warp would kill them, as well as preventing fast traveling every single time it's slightly convenient between fairly close locations. Through summoning sickness, I hope that fast travel experience should be a bit more of a strategic thing. Also, P.S., I think there should be some sort of animation or imagery that plays when you fast travel, something that makes you feel like you're absolutely warping to a new location. Now, let's talk about mounts. Since fast travel has been nerfed, mounts can and should take a prominent place within the world. Walking everywhere would just not be sufficient. Now, I know this point may break a lot of hearts for viewers listening, but I just don't see flying mounts working in a balanced open world video game. There's just too many variables flying around with a combatant that make it potentially way overpowered. So, I will be focusing solely on land and water based mounts. For land, there are horses and robotic mounts, and for sea, there are drakes. Also, side note, I have only a few options for each area because I think it can become a bit silly when there's a bunch of different mount types and there's no real difference between how they act or how they really function, and I'm specifically looking at MMOs when I'm talking about this. Anyways, these mounts options should first only become available towards the mid-game, when the player has the necessary funds and skills to take care of one. There are 3 reasons for this. First, it makes the player appreciate the mounts and the convenience they provide. Second, it makes an achievement to get the mount in the first place. And third, it doesn't front load mechanics and features onto a new player who already has to figure out movement, combat, and a lot of other things. Moving on, like mentioned in a previous video, these mounts should have basic needs that can be toggled on and off, like hunger and stress, just like companions. If you choose the survival settings, you won't be able to run your horse or drake into the ground through constant fights, but instead give them proper rest and let them run around freely when you're not using them. The last thing I want to address about mounts is make them effective in combat. Seriously, the potential for fun combat while riding through the land or ocean is immense, and it can be greatly squandered by lazy design. Let players have a variety of magic and melee moves on a mount. Let them upgrade mount combats with perks such as the ability to slow time on them, or deal more damage when rushing straight at a target. Allow players to seamlessly transition between being on a mount and fighting alongside it, allowing unique moments where you adjust your fighting strategy on the fly to match the situation. If mount combat is done and done well, it has humongous potential to be a main feature of the game. Now, let's talk about the final topic, shipbuilding. Since Aldera is an island with several smaller islands beyond its mainland, it would be a waste to not use this sea that lets you sail on a ship. The players should be able to design, craft, and maintain their own boat, though this purchase or creation should be reserved until much later within the game, depending on how large it is. This boat can be housed along any coastal town, should be able to be stocked with a crew, and provide new quests to the islands and otherwise non-available locations. Ship combat also plays a large role in the game's main story, which I'll link here. So, much like mounted combat, it must be fleshed out to help the full experience of the game be fulfilled. And that will do it for this episode. Just one more to go regarding the technical side of Aetherfall. So make sure to tune into the video as well as catch up on the series if you missed on any of them to this point. Until then, thank you so much for watching. This has been Brian, and I hope to see you all for next time. Bye for now.